How many of you remember this man? Let me tell you a little story about a man who built an empire teaching people how to escape the rat race, only to find himself in a billion-dollar financial mess. His name is Robert Kiyosaki. Now, you probably know him as the guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Why A Student Work for C Students and Why B Students Work for the Government, the books that actually changed how millions of people think about money. The man told us that school is a scam. The rich don't work for money, and that financial freedom is all about making money work for you. But here's where it gets really interesting. For a guy who preached so much about financial independence, you would think that he had it all figured out. Yet, despite all of his teachings, despite the books, the seminars, the courses, at one point in his life, his company actually filed for bankruptcy, over $1 billion in debt. Yeah, I'll let that sink in. One of the lessons we're going to learn from Kiyosaki, there are lots of good lessons to learn from him, and I must say that there are also lessons to unlearn from him. This brings me to lesson 1, the power of financial education. Now, before we start roasting Kiyosaki, let's give credit where it's due. And trust me, credit is due to him. One thing he got absolutely right is that traditional schooling doesn't teach us about money. I mean, think about it. We spend years in school learning about algebra, Shakespeare, finding X and Y, etc. But nobody teaches us how to manage debt, invest, or even file taxes. That's where Kiyosaki steps in. He told people that if you don't understand money, you will work for money forever. Is that not true? But if you learn how it works, money will work for you. Is that not also true? Now, that is solid 10 over 10 advice. Financial education is something everyone needs, whether you are an employee, whether you're a business owner, whether you are, an investor, whatever it is, everyone needs financial education. But here's where things started to get messy. And this brings me to lesson 2. Debt can break or make you. One of Kiyosaki's biggest lessons is that there are good debts and there are bad debts. Good debt, he said, that's when you borrow money to buy something that puts more money into your purse or your pocket, like say rental properties or businesses, or you invest. But bad debt is when you borrow money to buy liabilities like cars for fun, luxury items, things that drain your bank account instead of growing it. You see, that's why I like to read Financial Jennifer. There's this book that really got me so stuck, The Smart Money Woman. But let's not go there. We're talking about Kiyosaki today. So, about Kiyosaki, he loved using debt to build wealth. He leveraged millions, probably like billions of money on real estate, on businesses, investments. And for a while, it worked though. It really worked until it stopped working. One day, his company, that's a Rich Global LLC, collapsed. Too much debt, bad investments, lawsuits were piling up, bankruptcy. The same guy who told us that, get rich, who told us how to get rich, lost over $1 billion. Now, which brings us to lesson number 3. Yeah, using debt wisely can actually accelerate wealth, but even the so-called experts can fall. That's why it's crucial to not blindly follow anyone. Don't follow anybody's advice just like that. You need to know your potential, you need to know your standing, you need to know your pockets. For me, most of his books were all about motivation and not really practical strategies. And I'll say that never ever assume that you are too smart to fail. Even the best fail. So, what's the big lesson here? Why am I even talking about Kiyosaki? Why did that thought come to my head today? I was reading about his biography somewhere, and I was reading also about his bankruptcy issue. And I'm like, wow, this is that author that I read about, and I kind of like his books. I was reading Kiyosaki, and my mind was changing. I'm like, oh my God, I want to get rich so bad. I want to get wealthy so bad. I want to be this, I want to be that. Because trust me, he has a thing about knowing how to shift people's mentality and mindset when it comes to money. And that's a good thing. As much as he was right about a lot of things, like mindset shifting, cash flow, financial education, and a lot, He also made mistakes, which we saw practically. I mean, just recently in 2024, that was when the bankruptcy issue came up. He took so much risk. Aside the fact that he even downplayed traditional education, which was a bit too much, and at times his teachings were leaned more on motivational hype, like I said, than practical steps. If you read his book, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I read Why A Student Work for C Students and Why B Students Work for the Government. And trust me, as much as my mindset was shifting, my mind was, tilting towards becoming rich and liking the idea of getting rich and liking the idea of being wealthy. I found out something. There was a pattern to his books. There were patterns to most of his teachings, but there were no practical strategies on how to do it. Like, this kind of I'll hold your hands, I'll hold you by by the hands and show you practical steps on how to make money, on how to become wealthy. I wasn't seeing those practical steps. I must be really honest with you. And I thought I was alone. A lot of people too did not see that. Does that mean that you should drop out of school and take out $1 billion loan to buy an apartment complex? I will let you decide that. Anyways, let me know what you think about this video. Tell me your experience reading Kiyosaki's books if you have, and if you haven't, try reading them. And they're really good motivation for personal finance and personal financial growth. I recommend his books. Highly recommend his books. But while reading his books, you should also understand something, that these are from his personal of experience or knowledge. It may not apply to everybody. Okay, after reading his book, come back to this video and comment and let me know what you think. And if you have read his books, if you know about him, let me know in the comment section if some of these things I pointed out are true or just me and me having my thoughts. I'd like to see you guys in my next video. Before that, ensure you have subscribed to this channel, like this video, share, and comment below. My name is Esther Alexander. Bye for now.